Hey everybody, my name's Melanie. I'm the owner of Lost and Found, and in the span of 3 days, I am moving into 2 vendor booth locations. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so it's time to get going. So you may remember that the mall I was selling at got hit by a tornado back in May and had to close. This location was right across the street, and it also was damaged in the tornado. It is reopening, and this is going to be my booth space right here. Besides selling vintage decor, antiques, and collectibles, I also sell Fusion Mineral Paint, which is a line of paint for furniture, and I've always sold the paint and my vintage items in the same booth space. I actually decided though to break them up this time. So this is a different location. This is a new mall that is opening up, and this mall is really focused on newer home decor items. There's a ton of painted furniture there, a lot of vendors there that use the paint that I sell, and so I just rented a very small booth space in this location, basically just enough to stock my paint shelves. I think this is going to work out really well. I'm a big believer in trying to fit what you're selling to the average customer that is walking through the mall, and this mall again is really appealing to people that are DIY and not so much vintage and collectibles. So I got this space set up. Thankfully, it took me just a couple of hours. The other one is definitely going to take me longer, but I'm excited to see how it does here. So today is about getting stuff priced. All of this pile of random stuff behind me, it all needs to be cleaned, it needs to be tagged. Thankfully, I have records of what I paid for all of this. When I was tagging it all for Junk Ranch, I kept those because I have since forgotten to know the price that I need to put on it now. Like, you guys, that's why I write down what I pay for things. That's why I keep an inventory sheet, because sometimes it's months later and I can't remember what I paid for it. I just have to start digging through it though and get going. No more procrastinating. So a lot of these items are left over from when I did the Junk Ranch show. They did have a tag on them, but I'm still going to have to re-tag them because the information isn't quite right. I have bought a few new things also, and you'll know it's just a matter of kind of getting organized, getting things clean. I do try always to keep an ongoing written inventory sheet. I know that seems a little old school for some people, but it's just what works for me. It helps me keep track of things, remember what I paid for stuff, so I can know how to price it right. So you guys might recognize this location. I actually had a space here when I closed my brick and mortar store. This was the first mall that I moved into. I was here for about 2 years, and then I moved across the street to the other location, and that's where I was when the tornado hit. This is a fantastic mall though. It really focuses on antiques and collectibles, and I'm super glad to be back. So the last 10 days, you guys have been super stressful getting moved into this booth space and the space where I have my paint. It just all happened a lot quicker than expected. While we're on the topic of stress, I'm really happy to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. They're on a mission to make starting therapy easier, which I think is amazing. I think we can all agree that sometimes life is just a lot. And you may watch these YouTube videos or see other people on social media, and you may think that we are all managing it super well and we have it all together. But honestly, you guys, that's just not true. Everybody struggles sometimes, and what you're seeing is mostly our well-edited highlights. So as a young mom, I struggled with postpartum depression after each of my 3 kids was born. And during those seasons, I found therapy to be a real lifeline for me. Even now that my kids are older and we're in a different season, we still really value therapy as a family. My husband is also self-employed, which can be pretty stressful, and he has found that a once-a-month check-in with his therapist, quick over a Zoom, is just what he needs to kind of help keep things on track. So if you're struggling, first off, I want to tell you that you're not alone. And second, I want you to know that BetterHelp is here to make getting started with therapy super easy. So you can head to the description box and click the link right at the top, or go to betterhelp.com/lostandfounddecor and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Getting started is super simple. Just fill out a questionnaire online, and in a matter of days, you'll be matched with a therapist and you can get started. Okay, so we've got all the big stuff in. Everything that I had priced and ready to go is in. So I think now the plan is we need to get the big things placed, kind of my anchor pieces, and then we'll start filling in. Sound good?
Sounds good.
So this is a smaller booth space than what I've had in the past, and I was pretty sure that all these big pieces would fit, but I wasn't exactly sure where. I did decide to keep the shelves in the middle to kind of be a focal point, and then I'm going to build some height off of both of these tables. Probably going to stack something on top of the white table to add some height, and then I plan on using most of my Christmas stuff kind of over here on the left side. So my best tips for building out a booth space, if you kind of struggle to pull it together, is to tape out a spot at home before you even go in, the size of your booth, and get kind of a rough work in of your major pieces. So you'll know where those are going to go when you move in. And then it's just about creating height. Now, I kind of in general have a rule of I want things to be where people can get to them easily if they want to buy something, for sure, where they can always see the price tags. So even the big things that I'm putting up there, I'm going to make sure that the price tags are really easily visible. It's not necessarily ideal to have things like that out of reach, but I wanted that Santa to really make a statement, to really draw people in. And I made sure that his price tag was so you could just stand there at the bottom and kind of see what he cost. If people have to dig around too much for your prices, then a lot of people are just going to kind of keep walking. They're not going to be interested. So another couple suggestions I have when you're building out your vignettes in your space is to repeat colors and to keep items with a similar theme together. So I'm trying to keep kind of all of my Christmas in one central area, and then to have things in another area that are more general decor, or like the silver plate box that I have, and dishes, and there's a set of placemats that I have. All of that is related to kind of tableware and table settings, so I'm going to put those all together. Okay, so I just realized I'm missing a box. I left a box at home that has all of my non-Christmas stuff in it. So I guess we're gonna have to get the rest of the Christmas. I'll have to come back another day, finish up with the other things. But most of the big stuff we've got in, and now it's just kind of filling in. So I think I'm gonna have to pause here for the day. Not having that other box is really kind of throwing me off. I need to have it all in here so I know what I have, and then I can start moving it around. So probably done for the day. I'm gonna have to come back another day with the rest of the stuff and we'll finish it up then. Okay, I'm back. It's day 2. I found my missing box of stuff. Got it up here, the last few things. Now I can really kind of see where everything's gonna fit and start fine-tuning the space. So now that all of my inventory is here, I can finally have a good idea of how to build out these shelves. It's just tough to do that if you don't kind of have everything together. And if you're putting a booth space together for the first time, it may take you a little bit. You may get a vignette together and decide you don't like it, and that's okay. Move things around. These shelves I really played with for a while, and they're not perfect. The bottom shelves I don't love, but that's okay. Like, perfect doesn't have to be perfect. It needs to be good, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I put all of these dishes over here, again, keeping similar items together. And then the little white cabinet was mainly kind of my Christmassy decor area, kind of those little kitschy vintage items. I want to keep them in that area all together. I did take a tree in and use it to hang up these pretty vintage shiny bright ornaments. Hopefully they're not going to get knocked off. That may not be the best idea, but I thought that it would add some pretty color and just a nice little whimsical touch of display. Again, pulling together just some vintage tins on these bottom few shelves, repeating some of those similar colors, and just trying to fill up the space, but still everything has a space. Like, everything has a spot. If it didn't fit and I couldn't find a good spot for it, I took it home. And here it is, all finished. I'm just gonna let you guys take a look, and I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. Okay, so we're done. I can't say that it's perfect. There's a few things that I would like to tweak, but this is really the inventory that I have that I feel like fits in here right now. I think it's going to be a big weekend. The store is opening in 4 days, and people are really excited because it's been closed for a little while. So if I sell some stuff, I've got a few more things I can bring in, but I've kind of filled up the spots for right now. So I'm happy with it, and I had fun. So we're just gonna call it for the day. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be sure to let you know how it goes. And of course, I'll see you back in a couple weeks with another video.